Now we're going to talk about approximating square roots. So sometimes, as we've noticed, we end up with square roots of numbers that are not perfect squares. We can approximate the value of the square root without using a calculator. So let's look at the example of the square root of 8. Well, what you want to think about is that the number that goes under the square root is always your perfect square. So, for example, if I take the square root of 16, that equals 4. If I look at my picture of my square, 16 is the area, 4 is the square root, 16 is the perfect square. So the number underneath my square root is always the perfect square, in the cases in which we have a perfect square. Well, so what we're going to try to figure out is what two perfect squares 8 lies between. So if you look at this example, we know that 8 lies between 4, which is 2 squared, and 9, which is 3 squared. So the square root of 4, 4 being the perfect square, and the square root of 9, 9 being a perfect square, are the two perfect squares the square root of 8 lies between. And which one is it closest to? It's closer to 9, right? 8 is closer to 9 than it is to 4. Therefore, if we take the square roots of each of these, we get that the square root of 8 is greater than 2 and less than 3. Or another way to read that is that the square root of 8 is between 2 and 3. Well, we know that the square root of 8 was closer to the square root of 9, so we know that 8 is going to be 2 point something. It's probably going to be 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, something like that, because it's really close to 3, but the square root of 8 is fairly close to the square root of 9. So let's check it out on our calculator and see how close we are. I'm going to estimate that it's maybe 2.78, dot, 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 dot. It's going to be an infinite decimal most likely. Let's take the square root. So I'm going to come to my calculator, and here's 8. I'm going to take the square root, and it's 2.828, etc., etc. So it's approximately 2.8. I was close, not exact, but close, but that's okay because we're approximating. So without a calculator, I can get an idea of approximately the value of the square root of 8. So the square root of 8 is approximately 2.8. And you wouldn't know if it's 2.7, 2.8, or 2.9, but you can approximate. So the answer to the question, the value of the square root of 8 is this. The notation that shows you the square root of 8 is between 2 and 3. So that's how you write your notation. So let's try the next one together. The square root of 36, or 39. So what two perfect squares can you think of? I just gave one away. 36. So 36 is a perfect square that's really close to 39. What is the square root of 36? It's 6, right? So 6 squared gives us 36. I'll put that underneath so it doesn't look like a division symbol. So we know that the square root of 39 is bigger than the square root of 36. So if 6 squared is our smaller value, then we'll have to go with 7 squared for our next value. And what's the perfect square of 7 squared? Or what does 7 squared equal? It equals 49. Which one is 39 closer to, 36 or 39? It's closer to 39 is closer to 36 than to 49. 39 is closer to 36 than to 49. Therefore, 39, if you think of it as 6, 6.5, and 7, we know that 39 is not exactly in between 36 and 49, so it's not 6.5. It's going to be somewhere between 6 and 6.5. I'm going to estimate 6.3. Let's see how close I get on my calculator. So I'm going to take the square root of 39, so 39, square root, 6.244. It was a little bit too big, but that's okay. We're approximating. Again, your answer is actually going to look like this. 6 is less than the square root of 39, which is less than 7. The way this is read is the square root of 39 is between 6 and 7. So I'd like you to try the next two problems while pausing and then come back and check.